If you want to get our shows ad-free, head on over to patreon.com/undisputed anime. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Undisputed Anime Podcast. I am one of your hosts. I may be a devil and I may cry. I'm Zane Reed, aka Zane Taicho, captain when it comes to anime recommendations. And as always, I am joined by my brother, who is an oncoming storm, who sometimes is provoking with dark clouds of annihilation. Sushi Day.
The storm. Honestly, if I had known that this is how the show would have opened, I probably would have acquired a lawn chair and just sat back over there, have it framed so I just sitting on the back to the camera.
Oh, that song has been stuck in my head all week. And then obviously my algorithm has been nothing but Vergil memes and oh my gosh, yeah, every day Evanescence, and
it's a good time for music. I feel like this particular property is doing really good for like pushing some like artists back into the spotlight. Not that they ever got like unpopular, but like you know how it be.
It's made me revisit them in the gym and stuff, because it's kind of like, gosh, I really miss that kind of millennial punk metal era, emo music, Evanescence. Like, let's whack it on.
Honestly, such a tangent, but I went on such a crazy deep dive on the streaming apps like a little just last week actually, where I was like, I listened to one indie like kind of like punk pop like band that I'd seen on Instagram. As I'm inclined to do, I often jump in to just see what the album's like, you know, give them a boost in listenership and stuff. But then I was like, I listened to them, and then I then listened to at least one song from every single person that was recommended underneath. Ooh. And I ended up like following like 20 like indie like rock punk pop like bands, because I was like, this is all great, and it's all giving me the same vibe as like the music I was listening to when I was in my teens.
I like that. I've never done that. That's a good idea. I like it.
Going on a deep dive, always great. Like, especially if like you're starting to like consume a lot of music of a different genre. I'm like, I want to consume it, but I'm such a hipster. I don't want to be listening to what everyone's listening to. I want to be able to be all like, hey, have you listened to this band? Oh no, of course you haven't. Or like, you know, when a band gets, I'm just joking around now, but like when a band suddenly gets big, and you're like, oh well, I've been following that band since like before they were fake, they were big. And it's like, and then it's like that's kind of nice, because you're like, oh, part of me supporting the band actually helped them get here, you know what I mean? It's nice.
Absolutely, yeah. I always think back about Bastille. I was there for like Bastille's cover albums and mixtapes and stuff, and when they got hugely popular, I was like, I knew Bastille with their cover albums, like.
Where were you? I've been here for the dinner. You like Bastille? Name every Bastille. Name every song, every lyric. Tell me them.
Yeah. What's their cover albums called? Bet you never heard of Everyone's Heartbreak Volume 1, 2, and 3.
We're doing a good job at perpetuating the stereotype of like the toxic fan. Very much the same as like anime. It's like, oh, you like Death Note? Did you read the like 2-chapter side story that was written in like released in this one magazine very obscurely? It's like, name every character, name every person that was written in the Death Note.
Yeah,
or you're not a real fan. Obviously, this is not what the show is about today, but like I do, you know, that I feel I can't tell whether it's gotten better or worse. That like obviously we had the COVID like boom for anime, but I think that from that also came a lot of like, oh, these are just like tourists, and they don't really like anime. They're not real fans because they've not been here since from the big. They didn't have to endure all the bullying that I had to endure. You know, it's like kind of like, at what point does that like become like kind of moot? Like if you watch something and enjoy it, does it make you any less of a fan just because you consume it at a lesser degree?
I think this is a great topic for today's episode. And I want you to hold a pin in it because I'm going to run through the intro because this is Undisputed Anime Podcast. If you're new here, welcome to the show. This is a podcast where me and my best friend Susude, we get together every 2 weeks. Sometimes we call that a fortnight. If you don't know what that means, that's okay. Though I think I've just explained it.
Build. Oh my God, a Gundam. Oh my God, Power Rangers. Is that Sabrina Carpenter? With a gun?
Who's still playing that Lego Minecraft part of it as well? Let us know. Are you still playing that bit, that survival mode in Fortnite? Is it still there? I feel like they got rid of some stuff recently. Susie Day is going to fact check. I can see him Googling. But let's carry on with the intro. This is the show where we get together every 2 weeks to talk about anime. Sometimes we'll give reviews, rants, bit both. Housekeeping, be sure to check out our previous episode where I gave a review on Akira in IMAX. That was fun to talk about. Prior to that, I'm pretty sure we spoke about video game adaptations that we'd like to see turn into anime, which again kind of comes back round here, which is almost like we had Future Sight Haki.
That's third level observation hacky. We're out here seeing things before they happen. But we need your support. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you listen to this on your favorite podcast platform, hello. Second of all, be sure to drop a star rating because it'll help us out in a big, bad way. Today, we are sponsored by Surfshark VPN. Link for that will be in the description down below. But today we are going to talk about Devil May Cry Season 2 of the Netflix anime adaptation. And then we're going to play our 1-star anime review game. We have brought it back just for you guys. Oh, and before I forget, be sure to check out patreon.com where you'll find an ad-free version of the podcast. Bing. Susu Day. Bing, bing, bing.
Did you do some Googling?
I did, and I couldn't find the answer.
Cool.
In fact, I did 2 Google searches, and neither of them gave the answer that I was looking for. So I was like, I can't be bothered. This is a lot of work for just a side comment, you know.
Just for a yes or no answer. Also, another thing to make you aware of, I made a guest appearance on the Manga Tack podcast talking about Wisteria, Wand, and Sword.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Yeah,
bet you did.
I listened to it on my drive home earlier this week, and I didn't realize how much I gushed about that. It's weird hearing myself back, talk about the most minuscule thing about Will's goggles and go on this tangent. How much epic it is.
I'm gonna be so real. I'm gonna be so real with you. And
please do.
But I very, very staunchly do not listen to anything that I'm in.
Do you know what? That doesn't surprise me.
it's more so a thing of I was there, so it's fine. I don't really need to. I don't want to give myself anxiety about how I came off by seeing myself in the past. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you're in real life you'll have situations where it's you'll say something in passing in a conversation, and then a week later you're like, why did I say that? That was so embarrassing. It's and I feel that a little bit about occasionally, you know, because we do have some algorithm power. My wife Kira, she does see Undisputed's shorts come up on the social medias, and whenever they come up, she always watches them all the whole time, and I hear it happening, and I'm like, please stop. I don't want to hear myself gushing about an anime or having going off on a rant about something.
I had the same experience this week. The short off the Manga Tack clip of me talking about Will's goggles came up on my wife's feed, and I heard her watch that reel. And again, it's kind of like, this feels weird because yeah, it's weird hearing myself through my wife's phone.
Yeah. And it's strange because you'd think that by having a willingness to be on a podcast, you don't have any concern about how like you're perceived online, because like this is going out there. Like once it's out there, it's out there. It's like, but then just like being exposed to it, it's I don't know. It feels very like cringe. I don't know. It's kind of like, you know, like in the past where we used to like when watching anime or playing video games wasn't cool. And like if you get excited talking about it to someone, and then you can see that like there are people around who might think that you're uncool for like liking it, and it's like you kind of like get that kind of that feeling in the pit of your stomach. You're like, I'm gonna stop talking now because I don't want to draw attention to myself. I feel like it's just that sort of same feeling. You know what I mean? Yeah,
absolutely. And again, I think I wouldn't mind it so much if it was anyone else. Like if I saw a stranger listening or looking at that content, I'd be like, oh cool, they're checking out the pod and all that stuff. But because it's someone I know, A, who's not into it, and B, is seeing me in an almost different light to what, I mean, technically she should see me in that light because she would have seen me at cons and, you know, geeking out and stuff. But yeah, it's a weird perception.
I do think that there's like a degree of especially when it's like someone who's very close to you, you don't want it to be one of the situations where they turn to you and is like, that's not you, because like you're kind of like, I like to think that what we bring to this podcast is like very genuine, like a very like one-for-one representation of who we are in real life. But I think that there's a little bit of a worry that whenever Kira hears something like that, I'm like, she's gonna be like, why are you acting like that? That's not how you act in real life. And it's like, am I just a character? Is this just a character? Like, is
this my persona?
And it's like, I like to think that I'm the same, but like,
yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's the old persona question. Dun, 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 didn't feel like
and that's 3 seconds.
Madrid. Talking of LARPing and being a fake fan and all of the discourse right now around Devil May Cry Season 2. First of all, I've watched all of Season 2 on Netflix. Susude, have you had the opportunity to check it out yet, or is it on your watch list?
It's on my watch list. Like I think I mentioned to you in a chat yesterday, I'm intending to watch it on, or try and get a chunk of it watched on the plane when I go on vacation. You know, I'm going to make use of that, being able to like download episodes and stuff. But yeah, I've not. All I know of it is what I've seen on Reddit, I guess, and maybe Reddit is not the best place to be reading and kind of an opinion on a show. So interested to hear what you have to say. I'm like, full transparency, I am very aware of how season 1 was perceived, and how a lot of people, well, a lot of vocal people very much disagreed with how it deviated so much from like the game material. I wasn't bothered by it. I really enjoyed it. And I'm expecting probably the same for for season 2 for myself personally.
Yeah. Let me run you through some stats. So Devil May Cry Season 2 is set at a 7.4 on Internet Movie Database. Now, at the time of recording, it's not on my anime list, and I couldn't find it on any list either. So I can't find any scores there. A quick synopsis: when a mysterious villain threatens to open the gates of hell, a devilish handsome demon hunter could be the world's best hope for salvation. sat on Rotten Tomatoes, again, at the time of recording, it is averaging a 98% on the tomato meter and a 72 average popcorn meter. So it seems to be, at first glance, landing well with audiences. And it's rated pretty decently at this point, it's fair to say. But there's been so much online discourse about characterization, the adaptation itself, that it's not a 1-for-1 of Devil May Cry 2, the video game. And
Devil May Cry 1 wasn't a 1-for-1 of Devil May Cry 1, season 1.
Yeah, and I guess for us at this point, like, first thoughts. I mean, if I get called a LARP, whatever, I don't really care. I know that I've played the games historically. I have to admit, I've never been hugely attached to Devil May Cry. Although I love hack and slash, I haven't gone back to, say, Devil May Cry 4 or Devil May Cry 3 since I first played 3 on the PS2, 4 on the PS3, and maybe 360. I'm pretty sure I played both. But that to say, I did enjoy what I watched. I thought it was fine, like, but then again, in my time watching, I wasn't deep analyzing, is this a 1-for-1 characterization of Vergil? I'm kind of coming home, switching off after a long day of work, and I'm kind of putting it on. It's like, I want to hear cool music. I want to see cool action scenes. And that's probably, sounds horrible to say to someone who is a super fan. Like, we know Ray is a super fan of Devil May Cry, so I'm really interested to see what he thinks of this. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I'm kind of lost in the trenches a little bit with this one.
I think that what a lot of people on both sides of the fence misunderstand a lot of the time, and this is why it always becomes so divisive, is that, like, not everything is meant to be kind of exclusively for one subset of people. Obviously, if Netflix gets the rights to a show, they're going to want to justify the money that they spend on it by attracting viewers and making that money back. And I think that, largely speaking, regardless of your stance on it, if you love something, surely it's better that more people can be exposed to it, even if it is not exactly what you've been exposed to. Because I think that things like let's say, like, you know, we've got like things like the One Piece live action, we've got like Devil May Cry, like, adaptation and stuff. It's been written to be easier to consume and more, like, kind of broad to appeal to more people. I don't doubt that it would be incredible if they did like a 1-for-1 of, like, the story of one of the games. But if you did the 1-for-1 for the story of one of the games, you'd have to pack in so much lore that would just be lost on so many people. And I think that people would, like, kind of tune out, because a lot of people, especially people who are consuming media through, like, things like streaming services, they're not wanting to have to do, like, a week of extra reading to understand exactly all the complexities of what happened when Vergil was in hell, you know? So I think that, largely speaking, that the Devil May Cry, the TV series, has been popular because, like, it's attracted, like, new people to the franchise who have maybe then gone on to play the games.
So it's funny you should mention that. This is my perception of things, is that there is a whole new audience, like you mentioned, off the back of the first season, and have played the games for the first time, maybe, or revisited the games. Because again, I saw so many, like, speed runs and things after that first season, and maybe it's a surprise to them that this second season isn't a 1-for-1 of the second game. And in some cases, I'm pretty sure it was GameSpot did an article saying that this in so many ways is better than the second game, because the second game itself wasn't a Hail Mary. It wasn't, when it came out, it didn't have sterling reviews, say like Devil May Cry 3 did, for its story and stuff. So yeah, it's a bizarre one that people were expecting a 1-for-1, or at least some sort of through line there.
I think that sorry, you go on. Like,
the last thing I was going to say, kind of going back to what you mentioned about Netflix setting this up, I would have thought this would have had to go through Capcom as well at various degrees. Like, this fight takes place, this is the outcome of it, this is the characters that appear in this, is this okay? I would expect they would have had a say at the table just as much.
Yeah, because and you generally get like varying degrees of input from like the owners of a property in a show. Like, you get people who are like highly engaged, like Oda with One Piece live action. Sure. Where he's like in at every single level, but it's no doubt that Capcom probably wants to get more people into Devil May Cry, and to do that, you kind of largely you've got to be like, okay, well, you've got to have these characters, but we're happy for you to take this in the direction that you want to take it, because it's probably been pre-established like right at the beginning. This is not meant to be like a 1-for-1 of one of the game stories. And I think that something that a lot of people don't like to consider is that in the games, arguably great stories, people are so fond of them, so deeply, like, have such deep and fond memories of the game stories. Sometimes the story as told in a video game doesn't translate into a good show. Because the cadence, like, through playing a video game, you've got all of the stuff that isn't happening in cut sequences. You've got like kind of idle dialogue. You've got like stuff that's happening as you're playing that gives context to the story, that makes you feel deeper in the story. But like, if you then put all of that if you put like the story as it is from one of the games into the TV show, it's not going to make enough sense to whoever's watching it unless you've played the game.
Yeah,
it's like I try and give. Obviously, I've expressed some opinions about like live action adaptations in the past, but I do generally speaking think that there isn't wrong as long as the creator is happy to do so, or like the owner of the property is happy to do so, for you to give a property to someone and say, hey, go and do something fun with this. Go and do something that people will enjoy to watch. And I think that largely based on like the reviews that we're seeing so far, we're seeing it be like popular enough.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of good things here. Again, the animation is really good. Like, the only wonky bit of animation is probably like a couple of 3D CGI bits, but 3D CGI, again, it's on a scale of either it's executed really well or it's wonky.
It's a mess.
It is never a real middle ground between it. Well, so far, off the top of my head, but I enjoyed it, and like I found myself binging at least 3 episodes back to back every evening, whilst watching it. The pacing I kind of liked. There's some character pacing moments where I'm kind of like, is this really needed here? Like, for example, a little bit of a spoiler, there's a big monster final boss attacking the city, and destruction is happening everywhere, and Dante has a heart-to-heart moment with Lady. Is it needed at that time whilst all this chaos and destruction is happening? But in the wider context, there's so much at stake. Like, this could be their final moments they could get these things off their chests. So it's kind of like playing the trope of a movie, but Devil May Cry is cheesy enough for it in a way, do you know what I mean? It's one of those kind of weird things where it's like, if you think about it more than 10 minutes, you're kind of like, okay, yeah, I can see the sort of Michael Bay DNA type to this, like Dante surfing on a rocket, very Devil May Cry cheesiness, but again, it's it's not, you know.
But that's Devil May Cry, isn't it? Like
That's Devil May Cry, yeah.
Like I think you in the games, like you get in Devil May Cry 4, you get an ability that allows Nero to ride his rocket arm. Yes. Like he could fire his rocket arm and then jump onto it, and then you could do tricks and stuff to advance forward on the rocket arm. It's like kind of like Devil May Cry's never been like. I think that it originally, I think that the Devil May Cry 1 and Devil May Cry 2 in the games, I think Dante was probably a little bit more serious of a character. He was a much older character though in those, because obviously Devil May Cry like 3 came out and it's like a prequel of like how it all began. But I think that everyone really latched on to Devil May Cry 3 Dante. Yeah. And ever since then, it's been kind of like he's a lot more like jovial as a character. Do you think that a lot of like the negativity may just span from the fact that from that issue that I think that you see in all fandoms, and that is that people get so attached to certain characters that in their mind there is no good version of that character unless it matches exactly with your view of that character. Especially like, so what I'm hearing at the moment, especially is like people who are big fans of Vergil as a character do not like what has happened with Vergil in the show, because it does not match like kind of how they perceive him as a character.
I would probably say there's a mix, because I've seen a lot of Vergil defenders come out for this one as well, because there's a huge discourse that in this anime version, Vergil hates his mother, where in the video games, Vergil's very much quote unquote a mummy's boy. But that could be more of a, they may have missed the message a little bit there, because he very much telegraphs. It's more that he hates his human side, and he sees his human side, his human lineage as a disadvantage and not a part of him, the same way Dante does. And that's supposed to be the contrast between them, right?
But that's as a result of their different, like, their, like, you had their canon event, their canon moment, didn't you? They both unfortunately had to take different paths from that event, and they're like kind of the way they've grown up has been informed by that. Whereas like Vergil's had to lean more heavily into being a devil, whereas Dante's like lived as a human. So it's kind of like, you know, it's always going to be complex, and I think that we're always going to be in a situation where it doesn't matter how well an adaptation is executed. There's always going to be groups of people who either love it or hate it. Unfortunately,
and there's some things I agree with some of the arguments around. One of the big bads gave Vergil Yamato, and I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know if I like that.
Because like canonically in game, that character has been his like mortal enemy. He's like not someone that he would. But like as someone who's watched it, could you objectively say that if you were to watch this in a vacuum, that story's fine? Because you don't know, like you wouldn't know anything about the game backstory.
Yeah, because again, I'm so far removed from the games as well, because the last time I played it is probably going to show my age, probably like a good 10, 15 years ago. So it's kind of like, yes, I don't remember all the ins and outs, but for this storytelling of Vergil being groomed and, you know, was, what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of brainwashed into thinking certain things. I think it's very self-contained and stuff. And again, I'm very much aware that this is a alternate reality. This isn't the same place that the video games take place in. The other thing I'm really worried about, I'm going to get this off my chest now, is I'm really worried that Dante is going to be Vergil's dad. No, sorry, going to be Nero's dad.
Oh, is there some foreshadowing?
There's some flashback scenes to a very young Dante in this, and he's wearing what looks very similar to Nero's outfit, like the dark blue. I say dark blue. It's a dark jacket with a hood inside, a red hood inside it, and I'm kind of like, you kind of look like Nero.
What I will say, and I haven't watched season 2 yet. We've already established this, and I've obviously talked about how the game story doesn't often translate well to actual like a TV show. I personally think, and I'm just saying this just having thought of it off the top of my head right now, I think that the story of Devil May Cry 4, at least Nero's side of the story, would translate well straight into. I feel like that story, because when we meet Nero, he's a brand new character. We don't know anything about him.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of like it feels like it would be a much better story for retelling, because you could literally just follow the story. Like, obviously you've got Dante's side of the story happening in the game on the other, going in the opposite direction. You could still have that happening and stuff, but like it would play a much smaller part in it.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. And I guess they could always flesh out the Vergil part as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they would get there with the way this season ends, but I'd love to get to a point. They're both very young in this as well. They're very much in their sort of 20s, because with Devil May Cry 4, I want to say Dante's in his mid 30s, maybe even late 30s, right?
Let's just Dante's age through,
I'd say 30s.
Each game. Let's go see. So this is not confirmed, but like, so in Devil May Cry 3, which was obviously the third game, if you know how to count, he was estimated to be about 18 to 19 years old, and he's obviously young, cocky Dante. Devil May Cry 1, estimated to be about 28.
Oh.
Devil May Cry 2 is 33 to 35, because it takes several years after the first game.
Sure.
In Devil May Cry 4, they estimate him to be about 38 years old.
Okay.
And then in Devil May Cry 5, about 43 to 44 years old.
I get the
he's obviously,
that one.
because he's a half demon, he retains a lot of his like youthfulness, because he's not aging quite as quick. So
yeah. He looks tired in Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah, he's like, he's a much more grizzled guy. He's seen a lot, But yeah, I think that like him being like in his like 20s makes sense for the show as it is.
Yeah.
All this talk is making me want to just go watch season 1 prior to watching season 2. Just roll straight into it. We'll see what happens. Maybe I can convince Kira to watch it.
I'm really tiptoeing with the idea of replaying, because I never played Devil May Cry 2 the game. I did play 1, and 3 was my first one. Then I went back and played 1, and I played 4, and 4 just had me in a chokehold.
Yeah, for me, I played 1 and 2 not a ton. I think it's just from I had other games I was interested in at the time. Played 3. I played 3 so much. I played it through so many times, because it was just such a fun game. Same with like 4. I played it loads and loads and loads, and I played like 5 through at least 3 times now. One of them like
really
I played like 5 again like just last year. So I really enjoy Devil May Cry games. I think they're very fun, and especially like the story. Like, even though there is a lot of lore, there's a lot of story. Generally speaking, like it's not too heavy to follow. It's a very good, like, I've had a really hard day. I want to go and hack and slash, and I want to play like a silly, over the top, like an action game.
Yeah. The cheesy side of it has always been super charming. Like, I remember growing up, we would always scream Kyrie because of Devil May Cry 4. So yeah, it very much is like, I would never, I don't know, it's not comparing apples to apples, but it's, Persona is operating on a different level for me and has a little bit more depth. But I've seen a lot more analyzed videos in this last week about Dante's trauma and, his relationship with Trish and what that meant for his complex relationship with his mother and yada, yada, yada. So it's a lot more than what I originally perceived. But again, I was very much surface level with Devil May Cry.
Yeah. I get it. So, I mean, maybe this is something that we can circle back on, but what would you say? How would you rate it? Would you say it's disputed or undisputed, or would you say it's undecided at this time?
Oh, our first undecided. I'm gonna say undisputed because I did have a great time with it, and it's very much easy to rewatch. Like, I could see myself rewatching this in the next 2 months if there was nothing else to watch. Do you know what I mean? And I think, circling back around to what you said before, the best thing this thing can do is make me want to replay the games. And that's what I really want to do right now after watching this. And if I feel that way, I'm sure half a dozen other people do, or at least want to try and play the games for the very first time.
Give Capcom some more wins so that we can have more Capcom games.
Slightly off topic. I don't know if you saw, but they did their sort of financial physical of the year review. And I think you're still muted, by the way.
Someone tried calling me, and my phone's linked to my computer. So, no, I had not.
One of the things that they ranked was their top IPs, and one of those was Devil May Cry, even though they haven't done a Devil May Cry game in a handful of years now, because 5 came out 5 years ago, maybe. So they're very much aware that this IP still has legs. It'd be interesting to see if they would do a Devil May Cry 6, or if
It came out in 2019.
Wow.
Originally, it's obviously had a HD. Did it? I can't remember. It came out on PS4 originally, and then it came out on PS5. It got a PS5 re-release.
Yeah. It had like a definitive edition or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're very much aware that this IP still has legs. And it'd be interesting to see if they'll do a Devil May Cry 6 or if they'll reboot it altogether. We could have another DMC situation on hand.
Let's go for it. I know. So I have heard some rumors recently that a remake of Devil May Cry 1 and then 2 is being thought about. Which would make sense. That seems to be a trend currently in gaming generally, is that like older versions of games are getting like remasters or remakes to bring them up to like kind of standard with the current generation of games.
I mean, Capcom have killed it with their remakes of Resident Evil, like 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 did really well. So yeah,
it also makes sense because from an accessibility sort of direction, because like it's obviously difficult to get a hold of like Devil May Cry 1 and Devil May Cry 2 if you're not a PC gamer. Because I know that you can get it on Steam, but like if you're not, it's very difficult to get it on PlayStation.
Yeah, you'd have to get like a PS3 and get the HD collection.
Yeah.
Here's a crazy thought. If they were to reboot the game, do you think it would be a 1-for-1 of the OG, or do you think it'd be based on the Netflix anime?
I think it'll be a 1-for-1 with the OG. I don't think that they'll want to mess with the formula. They've already tried like a reboot of Devil May Cry. You know what? I'm going to say it right here. This isn't a gaming podcast. I actually really, really liked DMC. I really enjoyed what they did with it. I think that they made some really interesting decisions. I can understand why widely it wasn't accepted by the larger community, but it was a really, really fun game, and they did some very interesting things with demons and like Dante and Vergil. But you know, sometimes it'd be like that. It was a very stylistically very cool game. But yeah, I think that if they were to remake it, they're gonna stick to the original game's DNA. Maybe add in some like new mechanics or boss fights or whatever. But
Yeah. I saw this week someone had done a mod of DMC, but with the Devil May Cry 3 character models.
Oh yeah,
looked fantastic. I will send you the video later, but yeah, I really liked it.
Please do.
So yeah, those are my thoughts, our thoughts on Devil May Cry. But what was your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below. What we're going to do now is jump to an ad break, and then when we come back, we will play our 1-star review. But if you're not listening to the ad-free version of this, here's a word from our sponsors. This video is brought to you by Surfshark VPN. Now, for years, Surfshark has delivered privacy and security solutions to safeguard your data and privacy online. You can travel the world virtually, browse privately by encrypting your internet activity, block ads and malware that get in your way, and much more, thanks to its easy-to-use tools. Plus, get an extra 4 months when you sign up using our code Undisputed Anime. More details in the description down below. Welcome back. Now, we have brought back a very popular segment known as our 1-star anime reviews. If you're new to the podcast, little reverb. If you're new to the podcast, what we like to do is I will find a 1-star review. I will ask Susude to have a think of what that anime could be. Now, Susude has had a long history of watching anime, so much so you could look it up on my Annie list. No, AnnieList.com.
Don't do it. You'll see some things that I've watched. In hindsight, I would never watch these days.
I'm gonna make things a little bit easier for Susude. I went to your Annie list and I looked at anime that you watched between 2010 to 2012. 2010 to 2012, yeah. So
that could be anything.
So there's 3 anime. I'm going to start you off with this one. Now, let's have a look. There was a handful of 1-stars, but they didn't have any comments on this one. So the first one that has a comment is a 6-star review, which says, why do they ruin good anime with crybaby, whiny characters? That's the title of the review. Great animation, then long drawn out, I can't say that word, soliloquy, I don't know. Then crying, possibly? What does that even mean?
I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to give a definition off the top of my head, because somewhere in this house is my English literature graduate wife, and she'll somehow know I got it wrong. So then horrible reasoning, which lasts way too long, then great animation, then more bad reasoning that no real character would do, then more whining, then great animation, then bad plot holes, then great animation, then more crying. Oh, and sometimes they just stand there gasping while bad things are happening. It goes on. FYI. Then they are totally lost and crying at what to do, then great animation, then MacGuffin, then great characters seemingly pull a miracle win, then some more wine with the cheese. Is it?
Mm,
Is it Katekyo Hitman Reborn?
no. I like where your mind's going, but no.
Oh, is it Buso Renkin?
No. Do you want another review?
Give me another review.
Nice anime is the subtitle. The comment, I hope it has a season 3, and X is an adult and he has a girlfriend. Smiley face. And that was a 10 out of a 10 review.
What could this be? I think you've really thrown me through a loop because of like you've given me a specific time frame, and I honestly couldn't tell you what I was watching in that time.
Think
frame.
about think about what's come out in that sort of time frame. I'll give you another.
Boy. Yeah, give me one more, and then if I can't guess it, I'll give up.
The X series is an awesome series. One of the sweetest anime faves, second only to Sword Art Online. You won't be disappointed. I don't think that was going to help you.
What could that possibly be? What was I watching around the time? Oh no, I'm in that place now where I'm like, I consumed so much anime during certain periods of my life that what could it possibly be?
I'm going to give you one more because I think this one's going to really help you.
Okay.
I love anime and manga. This anime was recommended to me. I first watched the prequel adventures of X and I fell in love with those characters. Then I started X. The main characters were different from AOS. What's AOS? Attack on? No. Forget that. But I also love them. I love the Arabic theme and how it actually ties into some ancient history.
Is it Magi?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that one was easy mode with that one at the end. Yeah, okay, yeah. I can see that. They're talking about Alibaba needed to get a girlfriend. Oh man, not my finest moment. Now, like I'm thinking back on the original review now. I'm like, yeah, no, absolutely. There's just that pacing.
Yeah,
and it's like one of the things. Like it's such a slow starter, but it gets so good. And then they're talking. So what they're talking about is like the Adventures of Sinbad, aren't they? Like as the prequel.
Yeah, the Adventures of Sinbad. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
As a warm up, get those.
This ain't looking good, guys.
Get those wheels spinning. This second one, oh boy, I hope you're ready because this one had quite a lot of 1-star reviews.
I've watched a lot of bad anime over the years just for the sake of watching anime. So let's go.
Let's find a good one. Oh, this is a good one. So the title for this 1-star review, Absurdly Dreadful.
Let's go.
I won't spoil it, but holy hell, does this have wasted potential? Listing a couple pros. Pros, beautiful animation, nice music, decent voice. Cons, awful writing story, generic AF characters, overused fan service, the fandom, the whole of the I don't know if I could say that part, and the second season storyline, the fact it had a movie and a horrible relationship. Overall, dreadful. If you're a fan of anime, just watch something better. Animes like Full Metal Alchemist or My Hero Academia.
I'm locked on fan service.
What's had 2 seasons and a movie?
What has had 2 seasons and a movie?
Got that 2010 to 2012, 13 energy, beautiful animation.
So much it could be based. What has a lot of fan service in it that didn't need to have a lot of fan service during that period? Give me another one. Give me another one. I don't want to shoot my shot on based on that alone.
Let me read this one. I don't know if you'll get much from that one. Let me see if okay. This show is easily the most overrated anime of all time. All the hype made me give it a shot, and my God, did I regret it. Have a hard time sleeping at night? Stop talking sleep aids and simply put this. Oh, right. Okay, let me reread this. Having a hard time sleeping at night? Stop taking sleeping aids, and simply put this show on. You'll be sleeping like a baby in no time. My mind is literally blown on how bad this show is, yet still has so much hype behind it. Lol, are people really this brainless? There's more. The first half of season 1 was watchable with an interesting, fresh story behind it. But once they made it out of X, it goes down here faster than Kanye West talking to the press. The plot holes are massive. The main character is just randomly because extremely overpowered, with every episode being the same thing.
Is it Sword Art Online?
It is Sword Art Online.
I'm pretty sure that last time we played this game, you did Sword Art Online as well.
I thought I may have done, but it just surprises me how many bad reviews it has.
People don't like Sword Art Online because they feel like its power scale bad. I think that they don't like the idea of a main character who's just constantly coming out on top somehow.
I think there is a little bit of that, and I think something in the previous review about when they got out of Sword Art Online and then they go into the fairy version.
Yeah, they go into Alfheim Online.
Alpha. A lot of people really not a fan of that part of the story.
I feel like I might have been among the people who didn't like Sword Art Online if I hadn't been reading the light novels. Because I read the light novels before I was reading before I watched the anime. And I feel like that's kind of colored my view a little bit positively towards it, because I do really like Sword Art Online.
I like Sword Art Online as well.
Yes, I'm brain dead.
The funny thing for me is I hang out with this group of guys once a month every Friday, and they're very much new to the anime scene. They haven't watched an awful lot compared to me. And one of them was like, I seen this thing called Sword Art Online. Can we watch the first episode? And I'm like, yeah, we could watch the first episode. And it's interesting to see their reaction to it. Again, me 10 years from when this first came out, they're like, wow, this is incredible. I thought isekai was really bad. And it's kind of this is the genesis. This started the summer trend of isekai.
This started isekai as a bubble.
Yeah, because their argument at the moment is that they're watching Shangri-La Frontiers and they feel like Shangri-La is missing stakes. They really love the animation, they really like the story, but they were like, you just know that he can just go back into the game at any given moment. So they're kind of like, Sword Art Online, the stake is dramatically higher because it's you die in the game, you die in real life. So yeah, it's funny to kind of hear their thought process, if that makes sense.
I get the feeling that the majority of people who dislike things like Sword Art Online probably would hate 90% of the manhwa that I'm reading at the moment. Because I love a regressor story, or I love a story. Because like Sword Art Online itself is like, obviously it's an isekai, it's isekai of sorts, but it's like kind of it's very much like a regressor story in the sense that he's a main character who has knowledge greater than a regular person in that world.
Yeah.
At least in the first season.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah. It's funny as well because they were like, oh, wait, was he a beta tester? And it's like, and then he does his whole like beta speech.
I'm the villain. They needed a common enemy to unite against, or not reunite against, but someone needed to be the bad guy so that the other beta testers would not be villainized,
singled out
in the same way.
Yeah. That's what I had to explain to them as well because they were like, "Wait, why is he suddenly becoming the bad guy?" And it's like, because. But yeah,
he understands the grander scope of it in that moment of like, if we don't unite as players, we will never be able to win this game. And if that means that I have to be the bad guy then I have to be the bad guy.
Yeah. And then I said as well, it's great because the camera cuts to Asna's reaction, and that's why it lingers on her, because it's almost like she's the only one that sees through the character turn sort of thing, the heel turn. So yeah, it was really interesting. Give
me one more.
One last one. So there's one star review, and the subtitle is, I have seen many terrible shows, but this one is among the top. Here's the comment. The story is not only confusing, but terrible and uninteresting. I don't enjoy the feeling entertained while watching the show. It is filled with many negative aspects that make me feel bad when watching. If you want to see an anime that keeps you entertained and happy, don't watch this.
Wow. What on earth could that be in that time frame? Is it Pupa? Gosh. What was bad? What was bad and felt bad to watch? What made me feel bad watching it? Because at the moment, I've got to take this at face value and assume that this is not a happy anime.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be right in that understanding that this isn't like kind of happy go lucky story set in a high school or something like this?
It's not happy go lucky. High school. This is 2010 to 15. So
is it orange?
No, it's not orange.
Okay. Give me a 2-star review if they're orange.
So the next one is a 4-star review. The title for this is Meh. The comment is, you've seen it all before. The characters, the plot, it's all so very basic. The animation, the voice acting is great, but it's only great thing about it, I watched it while sick. If you wanted something really worth watching, I would watch something else. Like someone else said, it does feel like a cheap copy of Code Geass.
What the hell?
I can see the Code Geass. I would never
racking my brain now because I'm like,
would have never have thought of Code Geass, but I see it after reading that.
Mex. What's got Mex? What's got Mex in mind control? Nothing. Oh my gosh, what could it be? It's gonna have some sort of empire.
Mm-hmm.
or opposing force. This could be so much stuff, and none of it is coming to mind right now. Give me one more. Like I'm appalled that I'm doing so poorly at this game today.
That's okay. I'm trying to see one that gives you a bit of. Okay, I think this one will give it to you. Oh my god, there's a 6-star review called Code Geass. It's a low-level copy of Code Geass. That's hilarious. Okay, this one I think you'll get it. The story starts strong following a timid boy, X, who gains the power.
It's Guilty Crown.
It is, yeah.
It's like it's the more you speak, and I was like, what is Guilty Crown? Yeah. No, that makes sense. Everything you've said up to this point now makes so much sense.
I didn't think Guilty Crown was that bad.
Controversial thing to say on the podcast. I also did not think that Guilty Crown was that bad. I really enjoyed Guilty Crown.
I really enjoyed Guilty Crown.
It was faster. It was like, I love Code Geass, but Code Geass was like a lot slower pace. Guilty Crown was very like punchy. Stuff, episode over episodes and stuff. I think it's one of those stories where I think where there's a lot of like kind of interest on a single character who starts off weak and then gets exponentially stronger and kind of like feels like they have it all.
Yeah.
Because they like their power is like they can have all the powers. And I think that some people don't like that because they like to see, because I think having a limit to your power kind of makes you more relatable, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
But I guess we're going to say here on the podcast that we are Undisputed Anime didn't think that Guilty Crown was bad.
Yeah, I am probably one of those great case studies of the main character turning into the villain because they have to. Like it probably never gets mentioned as much as say Eren or Dune and Anakin, Paul Atreides. But yeah, I thought Shu's turn to being a bad guy was really cool. But then that's the whole context. He's heavy with the crown that he's burdened. I do think the second half of the story does kind of slow down a lot more compared to the first half, but the first half is kind of, it builds, doesn't it? It builds Shu to having the power, and
because he assumes the response. By the second season, he's kind of like understood the kind of weight of the power that he has now, and what he has to do in order to kind of break free from the cycle of everything that's happened.
Yeah, and from memory, I'm pretty sure the second half of the story is how everyone dislikes Shu. Like he's very much detached and he just wants to stay in his room and cuddle with what's her name? I can't remember because he's like manically depressed.
Yeah. And again, it's another one of the stories which it has an ending. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a happy ending, not for him. Like one of those situations where it's been long enough to talk spoilers. He beats the final boss, I guess. The flight that was affecting the world, well, Tokyo or Japan is like gone, but he's left alone, blind and missing an arm. Yeah. Like he's literally just like, he doesn't actually win anything.
No. So. I'm pretty sure there was an OVA or a movie.
I think the OVA is a prequel.
I was going to say it was a prequel about the twin girls.
Lost December?
Christmas?
Lost Christmas, yeah. Because that is about how the outbreak started.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but it wasn't, I think, I'm stumbling over my words. I don't think it actually was an OVA. I think it was like kind of there was something about it that I wasn't able to actually ever access it.
Same, yeah. I want to say it was like a TV special or something. As you're doing a Google, the first opening, easily one of my top 10s.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like it was Supercell, who did the opening sequence with My Dearest. Great song. Listen to it on the reg. Lost Christmas was... Where is it? I'm trying to find out what it was. It was an OVA, but I was never able to find it. It's 3 hours and 40 minutes long.
Is it really?
So was it an OVA or not? Because that feels like it's more like a kind of a game sort of thing.
That sounds like a supercut of the whole season.
I'm interested now. It seems like it was I think it was a game. Like a short game. Because there's a lot of talks about playthroughs. Just try one more place. Hang in there. Yeah, so Guilty Crown Lost Christmas is a game that was released from the new series Guilty Crown for PC. It is based around the time of the Lost Christmas incident. So yeah, it was a PC game.
I guess that's a bit like God Eater. God Eater had a it was a video game that had an anime, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But there was like some prequel stuff in the YouTube anime from memory.
So, Guilty Crown, man. I'm gonna go and listen to some Supercell after this. Kind of, I guess it's very anime fan. To hear someone say something negative about something you actually like and be like, well, actually, I'm gonna go and watch it all now because your review hasn't put me off it. It's made me want to watch it more.
Yeah. And if I don't know if you've ever had this, but when I've gone back and watched something after I've read like a really bad review, I'm kind of like, I see where they're coming from, but this still hasn't wavered my heart in any way of like, this. I still think this is fantastic.
People are gonna like what they like, and sometimes this is the whole plot of Gachi Yakuza. One man's trash is another's treasure. So you can't. Not everyone in the world's going to agree with you. I don't expect everyone in the world to agree with me, except on things where I'm right. No, I'm joking. Just like.
On that note, that's the episode. If you have enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave a like, a star rating on your favorite podcast platform. Of course, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to your favorite podcast platform. I'm pretty sure there's like a subscription. Yeah, there is. I've done it. I don't know why I'm doubting myself. It's one of those weird things where you're doing these like outros and you're like, is that still a thing? I haven't checked for a while. Bah. Just know. Yes, you can subscribe to podcasts on podcast platforms. Again, star ratings helps us out in a big bad way. And yeah, let us know your thoughts on Devil May Cry. Were we wrong? Are we LARPing? Are you LARPing? Don't be bashful about it. Let us know. And yeah, we shall see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.